preview. Oh, dude, I think we are previewing.
Oh, shit.
Watch, go to my channel or go to YouTube. Does it show anything? Stream says it's good. It says.
No.
But can you watch it or not? What happens if you click on it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I guess we're live.
Cool. I think we are live. Just a little bit of a lag.
Yeah. Yes. All right, turn the volume down because it's gonna be like super annoying. So usually what I do, I play like a video or whatever, but then I have to cut that off or whatever. Hey guys, how's it going? I was trying to see if this thing was gonna go live. What do you know? It did go live. Bam, it's live. Before I say anything, I wanna say thank you to TerraDeck. This live chat is thanks to them. They sent crazy. Oh man, did I mess it up? This little device, it's called the Video Pro, and that's what allows me to go live directly to YouTube without any problem. So let's see, do we have anybody with us yet? Do we have anybody with us yet or no? Comments? No? Do we have anybody there or no? Or it was just you?
No, yeah, we got 29 people there.
Oh my god. Whoops. All right, guys. Let me see if I can check where the questions are gonna start coming in. Type it in, guys. I'm just going to.
How do you comment? I don't get it. Oh, here we go. I get it.
Is there?
Cool.
I'm in the live. Oh, let me see. View on web page. Maybe I need to go to the web page to see them. Oh, okay. I see.
Testing.
Moderators. No, use single moderator for all your live streams. Oh, here we go. Jose Soto, welcome. You're the first one to comment today in our thing.
No, I don't get. There's a bunch of people commenting on the feed here.
Yeah, I know, and I just started all the way to at least when I loaded up. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess when I loaded up.
Okay.
Timothy.
There's a bunch of people commenting.
Joshua Went, you are live. I'm live. You know what's so weird? This device here. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the image, but it's stuck. You see that? It says it's looking for firmware update. Okay, I think I messed up the picture there for a little bit. Anyways, I had to go through the phone and then, go through the settings there and stuff, and then basically Kevin, my nephew, is over here to the back there, and he's gonna be helping me moderate.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Look. Yep. Here.
How's it going?
Visitor. How's it going? Gabriel.
Yeah, is he over here?
He should be on the other side.
It's locked up. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
All right. We had some visitors. What else? What's going on here? What's going on in the questions there?
Let's see.
Damn it, at my work, Brad Howlett. You're at work? What are you doing watching me? Look, Martin Gudiño is from Argentina. Gudiño. Welcome, Argentina. Someday I might be lucky enough to make it to South America, and I will definitely want to go to Argentina. Hopefully soon. Hopefully I'm not an 80-year-old man before I get to make it down there. Mr. Elon Juan. This guy calls me Elon Juan. Will you be making new videos more often? Just a joke. Well, as funny as that sounds, yes, that's what I want to do. I want to make more videos, and all the support that I'm getting from you guys is gonna actually make that possible pretty soon. Right now, it's kind of a transition. It's crazy. This might be. Let me see. What's today's the 22nd? I would say this might be my last live chat from my office here, from this building, because I'm gonna have to surrender this pretty soon by the first of this next month. I have to do a bunch of work at home because I'm taking Jag back to my house. I have room there. That's where Jag started, and so it's gonna go back to that. Because I don't want to, I want to keep going with that as much as possible. It's still a business that is, generating sales and stuff, and so I have to stay on top of that. And if we somehow ever are able to grow it more and more, I think we're gonna have to get someone else to take over, like just the shipping and the everyday things that happens that I have to do right now. In fact, I have some orders here that I should be taking care of, but of course, I like making videos more. What can I say? And that's going to be a problem. And so hopefully I can get someone in here to help me do that, and so that I can do more videos. Yes, well, I want to make more videos. Okay, what else is there?
They want to know what you're streaming on.
Oh, so for those of you who don't know, I'm streaming on a tiny little device. It's this guy. It's called the Video Pro, and you attach that with this cable into wherever camera, any camera. My oh, there we go. Okay, let's not move it anymore. Yeah, and so it's got an app. And it lets you it lets you monitor it, and then it lets you change all the settings in there, and it also lets you use the radio on here, the LTE or 4G or whatever, to go out. And this thing has a new thing where it lets you use several of these phones, and it goes straight out, like very, very robust signal and HDMI. Right now, and high quality. So right now I'm going out 720p, so it's not the highest quality, even though I could probably do it, but I don't know why I don't do it. We have a good connection here in the office, and I'm gonna be sorry to lose it, because now I'm gonna go home, and at home I only have cable, and it sucks. I mean, it sucks compared to here. Here's 25 down, 25 up, pretty solid. Most of the time it's probably 30 up, 30 down. Why is everybody laughing? What's going on there?
Because you were moving it. Everyone's like, stop moving it.
Oh. Yeah.
Next question would be,
what's going on here? I miss Blab. Blab is cool, but to tell the truth, I would spend 2 hours trying to figure out, and I'm like, I got an hour right now. Let's get up live right now. And so that's why we did it. Misa was the one that figured out. And, when he's here, I just go, hey, should we go on live right now? And he's like, yep. And he's like 5 minutes later, he goes, all right, sit over there in your computer. But he's not here. He's working. He's slaving away for the man. We need to save him from that. We need to get him in here. Well, here is not here anymore. It's gonna be different. It's not bad. It's good, but it's just different, and we're gonna have to get used to it. Which, by the way, I know, like, there's nothing ever just good and nothing ever just bad, but I tend to want to look at things on the positive side, and to look at things in the positive side is like I'm removing all the time that I have to spend generating tons of income to be able to keep this place afloat, to keep the lights on here. It's a lot of money. It's to give you an idea, it's about $3,000 a month. That is what a lot of Americans make. And so essentially what I had to been doing all this time is to make an extra income just to keep this place here. And so by letting it go, I'm shedding of a lot of weight on my shoulders, and I already feel it. I feel so much better. Like the stress levels are down. There's gonna be some kinks here and there, you know, navigating through like new waters, how to scale down. Remarkably, that's a hard thing to do. You wouldn't think so, but it is. It's harder than scaling up in some ways. But it then allows me to, like, you know, have a clear mind and do these things, do my projects, do my videos and stuff. So I'm glad the channel is growing. I think I'm gonna hit 23,000 subscribers today, and so that is pretty crazy. What's the next question?
Next question would be, I found this phone batteries for Chinese phone called CUBOT H1. They are 5200 mAh and cost $11. Anybody know if they are good enough for a power bank?
Oh yeah, they'll be good for a power bank if you get enough of them. But see, there's probably a single cell. How many milliamp hours did it say?
5200.
Oh wow, that's big. Yeah, you just have to get several hundred of them. Depends how big of a bank you want. And at $11 each, they're not super cheap. You know what I mean? Like you can get 18650s, although you can't get them at 5200 milliamps. Here's the thing though. Okay, here's the thing. I'm gonna answer one of the big questions and criticisms on the Powerwall video. It's like these people are like, one of them is the safety. Like, what are you doing for safety? How are you gonna keep them cool? How are you gonna keep them from catching fire? As it turns out, hold on, 18650 cells are a thing of beauty. These things are amazing. They have tons of energy stored in them, but they're also among the safest batteries. One guy was saying, like, what are you talking about? They're not toxic, you know. And so they're going like, you know, the things inside of them, all the chemicals inside are toxic. And yeah, that's true, except that you have no access to them. These are sealed batteries. They're in a metal canister, and you can, unless you saw them in half or cut them open, you can't touch the chemicals. So you can handle them with your hands. They're non-toxic. Try to do that with a lead acid battery, you know, and you can't touch this. Everything corrodes, spumes like nasty toxic fumes that are, you know, poisonous. Everything in those batteries is bad for you, and you can't really handle them because you have to open them up, and you know. So that's what I'm comparing them to, and they're saying like, those are toxic, these are not toxic. Yes, the elements inside are toxic. Also, they're among the safest batteries. They have, so first of all, they have a thing. If they get too hot for some reason, they have a vent inside on the cathode side that will release and will vent the hot gases, preventing this thing from blowing up. The other one that you're talking about right here for the phone or whatever, most likely does not have that. Most likely it's going to be in a pouch. It is going to swell up and eventually like pop, getting all kinds of stuff all over the place, right? And so they don't have this feature. The feature is that it's got a nice, like a soft pouch, you know, made out of plastic. But that's not very, you know, that's not a feature. That's more like a negative thing. The other thing is that these ones have a built-in fuse. It's a PTC fuse in there. So it basically, with heat, it actually bends a little plate that it's in there. And what ends up happening is that it disconnects from the cell. So the cell disconnects itself inside if it gets too hot. So no other battery, well, I mean, I don't know if no other battery, but I think most of these LiPo cells that you're talking about, like for the phone, it's not going to have that feature. And so you have to do it outside. And so, you know, my little things where I'm building the cells and I'm putting my own little fuses and stuff, that's mostly just do like a redundancy because these cells have them. I read an article that says that Tesla has taken that off of the cells that they order from Panasonic. I don't know if that's true. I have some cells there that are made were made for Tesla. I guess I can take one of those apart and see if it has that thing. Or I guess I can test it and short it out and let it heat up, or and see if it disconnects. I know these have them because when I was opening up all those cells from the dead laptop batteries, I would get a lot of them that were completely dead. I would put the thing there and I couldn't get any voltage, and then I would put them in the charger and they would do nothing. Eventually I found out about that thing, and then what I would do is I drill a hole right here, and then I would push that thing, and basically that little fuse there, I would push it and force it back to touch the cathode on the other side. And then guess what? The batteries had a voltage. And so that's how I know, not only read and seen the diagrams, but actually tested for myself how these batteries have it and how it works and how to reset it. Of course, that means that battery was hot at one point. I don't know, I would still use, I didn't put any of those cells in those projects that I made. I think I have a box somewhere of them with a bunch of them that have the hole, because I actually did it and worked them. They're probably not as reliable as the ones that haven't heated enough to trigger that thing. But 18650s, they are amazing cells. They're among what I believe is the best cells. Elon Musk is a genius, and if he's using them, well, I'm trusting that there's plenty of reasons why he chose that particular cell. All right, I blabbed enough. What is the next question?
It's from Andreas Real. How much would it cost to turn a gas engine to an electric? For example, a Jetta. Want to get an idea on cost. Thanks for the great project in battery power vehicles.
All right. Oh, how much does it cost? Well, it really largely depends on what kind of vehicle you want to make. It's like, making making a car, right? Like fixing a car, for example. Like, how much does it cost to buy a new engine so you can replace the old one in your car? Well, you can spend a couple $100, up to $500-600 for like an old Japanese engine on a Japanese car, right? Or you could also spend $10,000-$20,000 on some high performance engine to go, with custom parts and stuff. So it's the same thing with electric. You can buy a small, tiny little motor with a little battery and stuff, and just go cheap on everything and a lot of DIY stuff. And you can do it for 10 grand, and it won't have tons of reach. It won't have tons of power. Or you can go crazy and then, get a 200, 300 horsepower motor, and then you can get some crazy LiPo battery things that can output a bunch of things, or you can just get like a bunch of batteries like me, like 44 kilowatts, so you can have tons of range. That's gonna run you crazy. I'm somewhere like, I spent out of my pocket about $12,000 worth of components, basically just the motor, controller, and batteries. But then EV West, I want to give a shout out to EV West. They're my sponsors. They gave me they supplied me with I want to say another $10,000 worth of batteries. So you're looking at my conversion, it's around 22,000 plus the cables, plus the so you're looking about $25,000 just worth of parts. Then you add another few thousand for the labor. I had to order a few other things here and there. That's you can spend a bunch of money, little money or a bunch of money. It's the same. Next question.
It's from Luis Diaz. What size motor do you have on the Samba?
The Samba. Okay, so I just did this calculation on Google the other day. I didn't even think that Google had a calculation from kilowatt hours to horsepower. Turns out my controller can put out about 80 kilowatts. I think 83 kilowatts. 650 amps on 130 volts. That's about 83 kilowatts. That equals just over, it's like 103 horsepower or something. So my thing is capable of around theoretical 100 horsepower. I think I've seen on the dyno when we put one of these cars on a mobile dyno, it was like 84 horsepower to the wheels. So you know, somewhere around there, between 80 to 100 horsepower. It's plenty enough to move that car for a daily driver. It's good. You know, if you want a drag race, then you need to put a couple of these motors, sort of like what Michael did on his double cab. Okay, next question.
Next question would be, do you ever watch Jay Leno's Garage channel?
Yes, I do watch Jay Leno's Garage channel. I find it pretty entertaining.
And another one would be, have you read Elon Musk's book?
No, I haven't read Elon Musk's book. I don't actually read. Okay, it's not true that I don't read. I read a lot of stuff. I just read a bunch of like news articles and forum threads and stuff. I just don't read like a lot of books, like, you know, hardcover books. Or I need to get into that, because I think I would learn a lot from that. You know what I mean? Like I need to read more. I haven't read that one. It's in my list of things to do more.
Next one. Also, how long did it take you to collect all the batteries for your Powerwall that cost $300?
Well, that's hard to say, because that was part of like a much bigger project. I was just originally going to do the Samba using recycled laptop batteries. And so I needed somewhere around 6,000 batteries or something like that, 5,000, 6,000 batteries. So that was, you know, I don't know, a few months of me buying like things here and there, buying those things, and then buying the things is not a big deal. It's really testing them. That is just it's not labor intensive. It just takes a long time. You know, each battery has to sit there for like an hour discharging, which answers another one of the questions, popular questions, the Tesla Powerwall. What am I going to do about heating? It's a simple answer. I'm not going to abuse them. I'm not going to put them through like super high. I'm not going to ask high levels of current out of them. I tested them at 1C. Wait, did I test them? No, half a C. Like half. Most of these batteries were 2 amp hours, and I tested them. I discharged them at 1 amp hour, 1 amp, at a rate of 1 amp. And so, if you look at the Powerwall 4.4 kilowatt, oh, and that's the other thing, is like, well, yeah, you're saying. One guy was arguing with me that I should do the math at 3.6 volts instead of 3.7 because it wasn't. And I'm like, the rated and tested capacity of each cell was 2 amp hours, right, or more, and this is at 1 amp per cell. And so that means if you do 4.4 kilowatts, that's about 2.2 kilowatt load. That is what my thing and the wall there is going to put out. Like, that's what it was tested at. 2.2 kilowatts. You know, it's like if I would put it all together, assemble it, and then put a load on it, it would equal about 2,200 watts. Wait, 2,200 watts. And it gave me that capacity. And so, to get back to the question, it's hard to tell because it was, buying the thing wasn't that much. Testing each one, you know, I would do, I don't know, like 20 cells a day or something. I would, you know, charge them and then discharge them and stuff. And then I would write the little capacity stuff. You can still see some of the cells. I use them every day for a bunch of things. This one's currently charging my phone. I want to make a battery out of these that is going to charge my laptop. And then eventually it's going to be charging my home and, you know, partially my home. And yeah, all right. Hopefully that answered your question. It's hard to tell. I've been doing it for the past 2 years, off and on, here and there. It's labor intensive. That's all I can tell you.
Next question. How would you think green technologies can be made more accessible to lower income communities?
how do I think, or what?
How do you think green technologies can be made more accessible to lower income communities?
To lower income communities.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's hard to say. I think I saw a big problem with all these batteries going to recycling centers. You know what I mean? Like all those dead laptop cells have cells in there that still can provide energy. You know, for how much, for how long, I don't know, but no one seemed to be asking that question, and I was the only one. You know, I'm like, well, I'm gonna do. I mean, and not just me. I saw others. I'm not the first one to do this thing. Someone else was harvesting cells from dead laptop batteries. You know, for something else. I think for vaping or for. You know, I think it was the people with the torches, with the little flashlights. They were doing that. They're saying there's a cheap source. You know, you can buy a dead laptop battery for almost nothing. No one wants them. I don't know why people are putting them on eBay, but you know, for a few bucks here, $5, $3, $4, you can buy. And then you open it up, you take the battery cells, and then you have some cells that you can use with your flashlight. You know, who knows how long they're gonna last? But I mean, you only paid, you know, a few cents each or something. And when I saw that, I thought, like, what if you were to do that on large scale? And so I think that is a thing that we can do. Like, if you don't have a lot of money and you have a lot of time in your hands, there needs to be access to these products that are no longer used as their primary function, and now they can be used for a secondary. You know, you can get a bunch of these batteries. Imagine you had 10,000 of these batteries, and 50% are good, 50% are bad. You can get rid of the half that is gone, and then you can use the other ones. You've got 5,000 cells. That's like 40, 50 kilowatt hours of battery, and that could run, you know, maybe not here in America, it won't run a full house, which, by the way, it will. You know, it's like 50 kilowatts will run pretty much any house, a big giant house. But that, in a third world country, for example, that could run almost an entire village, because not everyone around the world is as wasteful as we are here in America. And so, yeah, it's the same thing with solar panels. You know, these factories in China are assembling all these solar panels. A lot of them break, a lot of these little panels, and so they can't put them on the main, you know, the main panels that they sell. But they sell these cells for less than $1 or so, around $1 a watt in eBay. And you can buy these, and you can make your own panels. Yeah, it's also the same thing. It's labor intensive. They're fragile. If you don't do it right, then it won't last forever. But, you know, you're getting them at a fraction of cost, the retail cost of these things. So I think that is the easiest, quickest way to get some of these, that I can see how some of these technologies can get to lower, you know, with people with less money. Other than that, you know, I think, what's the thing, you know, scales of, scales, economy, whatever. With more production, the prices were going to go down. There's a phrase for that I can't think of it right now, but eventually, with time, I think we're going to get there where this stuff is going to be cheap enough for, you know, even some of us that are not, you know, well off. All right.
Next is George Papadopoulos. Hey, do you have any statistics on how much the automobile market are EVs?
Statistics of how much of the
automobile market are EVs?
No, but I think it's like nothing. I think it's like 1-2% or something. That's the last time I heard. It's very, very, very small. No one is driving vehicles. It sounds really weird, especially for like someone like me here in California, where every other car here is an electric or a hybrid or, you know, one of those clean vehicle things. But that is not the case. I mean, we're in a bubble here, you know, in California, where there's tons of incentives for, not only incentives, but they're basically twisting the manufacturer's hands to be able to produce these CAFE standards, these vehicles and stuff. I know that's not the case in the rest of the world, and so like, you know, you go somewhere else and there's zero electric cars, you know. So yeah, it's very little, very, very little. Let's see.
Next is
What else? What else we got?
when will you do a capacity test of your cells in the Samba? Do you have a plan for maintenance checking of cells?
The capacity cells on so checking the capacity on the cells on my Samba. No, I mean, yeah, I think maybe one day I'm gonna do it. Like, so my system keeps track of how many amp hours it's using, and so I know I have about 440 amp hours right now, and so that's an equivalent, you know, 44 kilowatts. Wait, does that make sense? I don't know. Do the math. It's kind of weird because it's got two different chemistries in there and stuff, but it's like 450 amps. And well, what's the nominal? I have two nominal voltages, so it gets confusing because the lithium cobalt oxide, it's 111 volts nominal, right? But the lithium iron phosphate, it's 35 cells. So what is that? It's 3.3, right? 3.3 times, what is it? Let's see. I'm horrible at math because I didn't go to school. What's your excuse? No. 3.3.
At what cell level? At the cell level?
Yeah, at the cell level. Times 35 cells. So it's so the lithium iron phosphate nominal voltage is 115 volts, and my lithium iron cobalt oxide cells are at 111. And so that's another topic I think that I have to talk about, because it's a weird thing where one cell uses their energy and then they're just going along for the ride while the other cells are you know, pushing my car. Both of these cells have enough power to push the car to feed, you know, up to 600 amps or whatever. And so I'm not really jeopardizing any one of the cells, any of the groups of cells and stuff, but they do take their breaks, you know, like they do take their turn pushing the Samba around. It's like at the beginning of the curve, one group is pushing it and the other one is just along for the ride, and then, you know, one and the other one takes over and stuff. And I kind of, it'd be cool to graph it. I kind of like have done it in my head, like just by looking at the voltages and stuff, and it would be good to see it in a graphical thing to see what it's happening. But yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't really think too much about my batteries. I check them every once in a while to see what the voltages are, and to tell you the truth, the 18650s on my Samba, the Tesla batteries, I don't worry at all. I tested them after a year and they're exactly the same where they were a year before. They zero drift. They're good quality. They're matched cells. I kind of every once in a while worry a little bit on the lithium iron phosphate, because I was the one that installed them together. I was the one that bottom balanced them. And I don't know how good of a job I did. I don't know where they're at. I do remember once checking them sort of at the top. Some of them were quite, you know, a little bit high than 3.5, 3.6 volts, you know, at the very end, just when like the charger would cut off and then they would all go down and settle. But I don't think too much myself. Yeah, they don't, at the rates of current, at the rates that I'm charging them, at the rates that I'm discharging them, I'm not really stressing them too much. And even if there was variances in the cells, it's very minimal. So if they do start drifting or whatever, because one starts developing a short or something like that, it is definitely going to be the lithium iron phosphate cells, because those, they have a super higher, like way higher failure rate than the 18650s. And so those are the ones I think that eventually would develop a problem. I don't know how far into the future that's going to be, but my plan, obviously, it's now to replace those cells with the Tesla modules, and I just kind of have to, you know, have to be in a better place here where I can afford to have some, disposable cash so I can buy those and then put them on the Samba and stuff. And so that's in the future. That's coming up. I forgot now what question I was answering, but hopefully that answers something.
That happens. Next question is from Vina Demon Slayer. How do you charge the homemade Tesla battery, and what amperage can it take before it would be risky?
I don't, because it's actually not functional. I just I wanted to make the video because I knew it was gonna be in the news, and so I'm doing many things here, and among those things, one of the primary things that I'm trying to do is build a channel. And so I know I can make videos that are interesting, and I know I can make experiments that people are interested in, and they're compelling, and the audience is gonna come. I know that because I've been doing that for 2 years, and I see my channel just steadily grow. The thing is that now I'm trying to leverage what I'm doing so that I can get there quicker. I'm getting tired of not being able to make videos for a living and having to do a bunch of paperwork that I don't want to do. And so the reason why I made that video was because I knew it was timely, it was going to help me, and it was possibly going to go viral. And what do you know? It's like it got 150,000 views in 3 days this last week. So something happened. There was an announcement from Tesla. They announced it was in the news, and so a bunch of people came in, and we got, I went from, what is it? I want to say at the beginning when that started happening, I was like 17,000 subscribers, and then by the end of that week, I was at 21,000 subscribers, or 20,000. I'm about to hit 23,000. And so that's the reason why I made that video. That video, it's pretty much just summing up what you would have to do to make one of these batteries. I didn't actually make the battery. The battery's already made. I know it works because I used it in my Samba. I went to Arizona last year using that battery. And so I tested it, I assembled it, and all I did was throw it in this box just to say, like, this is what you have to do. Eventually, I do want to make it and then show it working. But right now, as of right now, it doesn't work. It's not powering anything. I haven't charged it using anything other than my Alcon 5 kilowatt charger that I have on the Samba. It's not even connected at a correct voltage to run any of these low voltage inverters. But as I'm finding out more, I think maybe I won't even have to change it. Maybe I can find an inverter that will run at 130 volts, because I think someone said that the inverters that are made to run off of solar panels are usually on the higher voltages, anywhere from 100 to 400 volts. And so if I can get one of those, maybe I won't even have to change the way that it's wired, because the higher the voltage, then the lower the amperage, and so then the less stress on the cables, the smaller the cables can be and stuff like that. So there's benefits to running higher voltages. Of course, doing it on the cheap, doing it the lower voltages, then you can use any of these like UPSs that they're everywhere, people are throwing away, and there's a lot of like information on how to modify them so that you can actually use them as a standalone inverter. And so that I find that very attractive, because again, it's using something that's already there, it's mass produced, it's cheaply available, and you can use it without having to like spend tons of money for equipment that it's that is for another purpose, and it's made more expensive. All right, what's the next question?
From Nia Toolkit. How long will the 18650s last? How many cycles?
How many cycles? Well, that is a good question. No one really knows. That is, unfortunately, the easiest answer. But here's the thing. Look. Here's the thing. when I was doing this thing for the Samba, I thought, okay, so yeah, realistically, how many more cycles do these batteries have in them? And that really depends. It really depends how you're going to use them. As a laptop battery, there's not that many cycles because they asked a lot of those batteries. You know what I mean? Like it's like when your laptop. Well, I don't know, like, yeah, when you design your system, you want to design it so that it goes from fully charged to fully depleted in this longest amount of time as possible, right? So let's say that I build a big 40 kilowatt hour pack for my Samba, and that Samba, it takes. I don't drive it more than like 20 miles a day or something. You know, it's going to take the whole week for me to go through one full cycle from fully depleted to fully empty, right? And so even if those cells have, let's say, 100 cycles left, right? And each of the cycles is like 100 miles. You multiply that, that's 100,000 miles. And so, you know, that's a lot. If you build a bigger battery and it gives you 200 miles per cycle, then you're talking about 200,000 miles. And so that's quite a bit. How long is it going to take like someone like me that doesn't drive that much, to drive 200,000 miles? That's going to be like 20 years. And so if you look at it that way, these batteries have plenty of life. Even if it's like 100 cycles left in these cells. And so it's the same thing if you're gonna do if you're gonna put in an application to run your house. You have to build a large enough battery, first of all, so that the batteries have an easy life. These are technically dead batteries, right? They're past their 70% stated capacity by the manufacturer. In the case of mine, anyways, because at 2 amp hours, and when originally they were 2.6, so they're dead. According to the specs, the spec sheet. So you want to go easy on them. And the way you do that is by building a bigger battery. And so even if they're running your entire house, let's say that you build a big enough battery that in your house, it takes 2 days to do one cycle. So that way, you know, you're going to use, it's going to last you 200 days. It doesn't make as much sense using them as a home when you're cycling them every day. But the thing is that for most of us, we're not going to go 100% solar or 100%, we're not going to go off grid. A lot of us, like for me, for example, I just want to be able to lower my consumption of energy to get past, to put it below where the second tier pricing comes in. Like I'm allowed 10 kilowatts a day, and they charge me one price for that. But as soon as I go that 130% of that base kilowatt usage, then they really start ramping up the prices. And so I saw 13 kilowatts for me. I'm averaging 17 kilowatt hours per day, and so I'm paying anywhere between 3 to 6 or 7 kilowatts a day that I'm paying like really high prices because I'm going over what I'm allowed to go. And so it would be awesome to get one of these batteries, 4.4 kilowatts, 5 kilowatts, and just like use them to charge, and then to use them to like get me below that thing. And so I would want to do maybe like a 10 kilowatt battery that would do that for me, and it's not cycling every day kind of thing. So yeah, that's what the cycle life looks on these batteries. The truth is that no one knows. I'm hoping that there's still enough battery cycles in there to make it worth it, but not having anyone ever done this before is just it's just a big experiment. Someone has to do it first, and if no one's stepping up, I guess I'm gonna have to be the one. All right, next question.
They want to know, where do you acquire the Tesla modules?
Oh man, my channel is full of links everywhere. Like every time I talk about them and I show them on the screen, there's usually going to be a thing there where you can click on it, a little square if you're watching on your computer. There's going to be on the description where it's like the video. I say these are the products that are used, and you click on all those links. They take you back to where you can purchase them. There's also the thing called cards now that's on YouTube that they appear like right here on this little corner. Wait, is it in this corner? No, it's on this corner. Yeah, on this corner right here. And those even work on mobile devices. You click on those, it takes you to a bunch of those links. Yeah, I'm licking. I'm like...
It's all archived.
I'm a link whore.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, if you don't know, that's how I'm speeding up also the my ability to quit my job and do videos for a living. It's by I signed up with a bunch of different partners online, you know, like Amazon and eBay, and there are several other ones along with Patreon. I want to say thank you to my patrons. If any of the patrons are watching, thank you. I owe you guys a lot. You guys are speeding up this process, and I really truly appreciate it. But for everyone else that cannot afford to like donate or to, you know, support the channel, then when you click on those links and you go to those portals and you go to Amazon and you go to eBay and you buy anything there, there's a small, you know, between 3 to 5% that we earn as commissions for having you sent, you know, for sending you guys there. And so it's working out. It's generating a little bit, you know, every day it's going up a little bit and stuff, and every little thing helps. So if one day YouTube decides that they're not gonna share their earnings anymore, ad revenue and stuff, then it's not gonna be completely, you know, we're not gonna be completely out, you know, on our own, because we'll have a tiny little sources of all kinds of other places. And so that's the plan anyways. And so yeah, that's why that's the incentive that I have to go and put all those links and link up every product that I use, and where you can get some of this stuff, including the music and all this other stuff. You know, that's the only way that we're gonna be able to do it. All right. Another one.
Regulator 2. What do you think about the dual carbon batteries that are being developed by Los Chinos?
And so that's the plan anyways. I don't really care for them because those are like theoretical at this point, or if they're actually being produced, they're being produced right now only on the labs. And so it doesn't really help us, you know what I mean? Like, this is stuff that is coming, you know, miles ahead, you know, like in the future. It's not till they actually gear up and start producing this in large numbers and start selling them, and they find applications for all these technologies, that we'll actually be able, you know, mere mortals like us, like guy like me that works in his garage that doesn't have tons of money, then we'll get those batteries in our hands and they will change our lives. They will have a change, you know, in the way we live and stuff. Yeah, right now I tend to be more practical. I tend to be like, what is the thing that I can get my hands on without having, you know, connections, without having tons of money, without like, those are the things that interest me, because yeah, there are great things and amazing things happening in the world, but they, you know, they're exclusive to the elite, or to the scientists on labs. And so yeah, it's cool that they're doing the work. You know, technologies cannot advance without those guys, and yeah, I mean, I think more money should be thrown to some of these ventures and stuff. But yeah, I tend to be a little bit more practical. What is it that I can do? What is it that you can do? What can I buy today? What else?
Jay Moritas asks,
Ooh.
Are you thinking to take away the gearbox and put a custom one with only a gear ratio, with only on gear ratio?
Oh, 1 gear ratio? On what? On my Samba? No. It's too much work and not enough benefit. again, it's like removing that thing is such a bunch of work. Like if you look at it's not the same in every car, but on the Samba, for example, the transmission is part of the suspension in the back. It also houses the differential, right? So if you remove that transmission, then you still have to get some kind of differential in there. And now it's custom. You have to figure out and engineer how to put it and weld it and cut it and do that whole thing. And then you have to find the right gearing ratio to have enough torque to get going from a dead stop, and then also have enough, like a good ratio when you're doing 60-70 miles an hour. And so for the smaller motors like we have right now, like a 100 horsepower motor, you kind of need like 2 gears. You can't do it with just one. If you put, like a bigger one or 2 of them, like Michael did with his, then you have enough torque to get going, fast enough off the get-go. And, you can reach, because you can put it on the, 4th gear, which probably somewhere around, I don't know, probably somewhere around, where Tesla is at. It's like 6, 7, I think it's like 8-to-1 ratio or something like that. So, yeah, no, I have no intention of doing that. That seems like a whole lot of work to get very little gains. I don't see what you would lose. You would lose a little bit of weight for extra gearing that is there. Yeah. Now, I have no plans to do that. Maybe if I was building a car from scratch, I would do it, but not like this. Amir Hassan says, Kevin, you forgot my question.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Which one? Let me look.
What do you think of Donald Trump? I think I think the guy's a moron. I think the only reason why he's running right now and he's popular is because he's everything that I'm not really political, right? Like I don't believe in politics. I don't believe they can change the world enough to where we need to go fast enough. And so but I think the reason why he's so popular is because we hate politicians so much that when we see him, we're like, he's everything that a politician is not, right? But at the end of the day, the guy's still an idiot, so he's bad news. He's bad news there, because if we give him power, forget it. Imagine, But it's great, like all the things that he's saying, like, hey, I have my own money. I'm not no one's, puppet or whatever. That's all true. Like, he does have his money, and all the other politicians just puppets for corporate America, and it's crazy. But enough about politics, because that's the thing we'll never agree and we'll never go anywhere. All right.
Amir, his question was, can you add a small diesel genset on your Samba to charge the batteries while driving and extending the range?
Yes, that is very possible. My Chevy Volt does that with a gas engine. It's got its own onboard generator, and it works great. You can go to New York almost without stopping. Well, you have to stop every once in a while, every 300 miles to oh, check it out, and Donald Trump is live right now in Las Vegas. Wow. Yeah, that's very possible. I'm not interested in doing that. If I just wanted to get far, then I would just throw a gas engine in there and just fuel up and go. My experiments are more like how we can do this all electric and how do we do it. And so that's the reason why I'm doing the whole trailer and the thing. And yeah, someone had to do it. I know some other people have done it before, but there's no record of it. I don't know who the guy's name is. I don't know what he thought about it. I don't know what, nothing. All I know is that it's been done because I've seen pictures here and there and stuff. So I had to do it, and I had to share with everyone so that everybody could see that it's possible. We got what else? What else is going on?
Lou is asking, do you think you will be documenting another EV project again for your YouTube channel?
Yeah, that's gonna be ongoing. The Samba's not done. Not even close to being done. We have a plan to do another BW. It's like a square bag. Wait, not square bag, it's square back. No, it's not even a square back. What is it? It's a damn, I don't even know what it is. It's one of those that looks like a car. And we don't know how we're gonna go. It's like I'm experimenting with this smart, which by the way, I called the guy today and again he wasn't available. He's supposed to call me back to see how that's going. Anyways, if we are able to figure that out, how to strip all the unnecessary things from that smart car and be able to transplant that into a BW body, woo, that's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be really great. Hey, what's happening? How come this thing's not moving? Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so there's gonna be quite a bit of EV projects, I think, in my future that I'm gonna be doing for you guys to see.
Kelly has a couple of questions for you. Kelly Bell, I have a Chevy Volt. Jehu, is it possible to build a lithium ion battery pack sitting on my truck with inverter plug in on J1772, charge it back to my car charger?
Yes, it is possible. Although let me see. I can see why you're trying to do that, like, because that way you wouldn't have to modify your Chevy Volt, but it would be so inefficient because now, like, you're getting the DC power back to AC power just so that the charger can turn it back into DC power, and so it would be super messy. And so the quickest way is just to figure out how many cells the Chevy Volt has, put enough of those cells, and then just tap in the two terminals of your Chevy Volt, and then hopefully that gets you except that let's see, that of course obviously complicates things because we don't know how sensitive or how picky the BMS system on the Chevy Volt would be if all of a sudden the battery has 20 kilowatt hours instead of the 16 or whatever it's got. It would still not let you use anymore, even though there's plenty of battery left there. That would be a problem, you would have to hack the computer. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, probably, doing it your way might end up being more, an easier thing to do. I don't know. I mean, at least for me, for someone to know how to hack the system, get the canvas commands, it would be like, no, what are you talking about? I could just, change the commands on the ECU to do whatever I want. And so yeah, it would be that.
Have you ever been electrocuted?
Yes, of course. When you're messing around with electricity, you're always gonna get electrocuted. Nothing bad, nothing serious. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you guys look at me, but I'm not as daring as I come across. I tend to work, safe. I mean, I don't always wear the helmet and the goggles and stuff, but I always, wear gloves and, I've never injured myself. I've never burned a building down. I tend to be safe. I know a lot of people call me a hack. A lot of people have called me a redneck, backyard redneck, Mexican redneck. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just blowing stuff up. And yeah, it does
Well, shit, how do you learn?
seem across like that's what it is. But, I like to think I have a little bit of common sense and I work kind of safe. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's just me talking about myself. I don't know what you guys see. It might look completely different from the outside, What else?
Next we got Leroy. He's asking, I've been watching your channel for a while. and like the things you're doing with the batteries. My question is, do you have a generator on the Samba to recharge the batteries as you drive it around?
No, it's battery only. Battery only.
Battery only, recharging.
Yeah, and I recharge.
Why do Li-ion batteries die, and how to improve the situation?
I have been told there's a website with that title. And there's an article with that title. I want to say I read it, and I don't remember much what was in there. I think that's really going deep into the chemistry and stuff, which is all interesting stuff. You should go read it if you want to know more about lithium-ion batteries.
Are there any laptop batteries to avoid buying 18650s?
Wait, say that again?
Are there any laptop batteries to avoid buying for 18650s?
Wait, what? Oh, hold on, guys. I gotta connect the Video Pro. The battery is...
Oh no.
Video disconnected, the video input has... Okay, hold on. Are we back on? We back on?
You never left here on my side.
Yeah, I saw it over here on the thing. Wait, can you read that question again?
One more time?
Yeah.
Are there any laptop batteries to avoid buying for 18650s?
Like 4 18650s? Like FOR or
Yeah.
4 like...
No, like
quantity
FOR.
4?
I'm not sure if he...
Oh, that question doesn't make sense. So are there... Yeah. No, I'm sorry. You gotta ask that question again, because...
Joey, retype your question, please.
Yeah, that's hard to get. So 18650s. No, is there laptop batteries?
Is it kind of a vague question or what?
Well, let me see. Read it again. What'd you say?
Are there any laptop batteries to avoid buying for 18650s?
Oh, okay. No, that makes sense. Yeah, don't buy the super cheap, like, replacement batteries. Yeah, like, only get brand name, like Lenovo. What are the other ones? Like the high quality, like, computer companies, you know, IBM. IBM is Lenovo. What's the other one? There's like another one that I get. Mostly I bought Lenovo though. Those use good quality cells from Panasonic, from Sanyo, from LG, from what's the other one? Samsung cells. Those are the only manufacturers that have high quality battery cells from 18650 format. There are tons of hack little shops in China that probably make them. But those are the ones that you see the articles online where they have a bunch of sand and they have a tiny little button cell inside. Or they rewrap like all these, you know, fire cells, you know, ultra fire and all stuff. Those are just either rejects in China that didn't make the cut and some from the main manufacturers, and so they dump those out to whoever wants to buy them in China. And these guys, they can't sell them as Panasonic and Sanyo cells, right? They have to rewrap them as something else, and they put these brands in there, Ultrafire and stuff. And I wouldn't doubt it that there are also a bunch of recycling centers that they're getting a bunch of these cells. They're doing exactly what we're doing, or I'm doing, breaking them apart, taking the cells out, taking the labels off and rewrapping them. So they're recycled harvested cells from other applications like laptop batteries. The problem is that you don't know what there are. It's just mystery. And so when you buy them yourself as Lenovo packs or the other manufacturers that I can think of, you know what you're getting. You know you're getting LG cells. You know you're getting Sanyo cells. You know you're getting Panasonic cells. The only thing that is unknown is, you know, how far are they? You know, are they completely gone? Are they abused so far that they're not done? So that's the ones that you want to go for. When you buy the replacement cells, those are just Chinese factories that are buying probably the cheapest cells they can buy to put on a cheap $5 replacement cell, the battery that you can buy for your computer. And right away you can tell, because you just go to like Amazon and look at that product from that one company that you're thinking of buying, and you'll see the reviews there. People are going like, hey, you know, the original battery used to give me 4 hours in my computer, and this replacement that I bought, it's only 30 minutes, you know? So you know that these cells are not good, even if they're new. And so, yeah, avoid those at all costs. Unless you buy one, you can get them cheap, and then you can test them, and then they're consistently good, then I guess go ahead and buy them. But, yeah, I wouldn't do it. Except the fire cells. That claim to be 5,000. Yeah, they have some ridiculous, like 5,000 milliamp hours or 8,000 milliamp hours. Like, if you can't trust those guys to tell you, you know, the capacity, you can't trust to tell you where they're getting them from. So, mystery cells, don't buy them. Mystery, it's like mystery meat.
Worse than mystery meat.
Yes.
All right. Jigar Balodia is asking, are the cheap batteries still available on eBay? I couldn't find them. How much did you pay for the used batteries?
Yeah, so here's the problem. Look, I knew that when I put a video up there and it was gonna get a lot of views, those batteries were gonna start, the prices were gonna go start up. Because here's the thing, look.
Average price.
So you know, those batteries are coming from, well, there are a lot of people that just have like a laptop that they were using and no longer use, died or something, and they still have a couple of like leftover dead cells, batteries, right? Most people probably just throw them away or take them to the recycle bin. A lot of them put them up on eBay, and you can get 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, you know, like, and you can find good deals that way. And sometimes they have, you know, they're almost new or whatever. But by and large, what you want to find is the guy that is selling 100 of them in a lot. And this guy, what he's doing is he's buying these lots of used computers from lease companies that lease them to, you know, multi-million-dollar companies, you know, would have 200-300 people use them, and after 2 years, then they turn them in and they want to get the new model or whatever. And so he's got, you know, thousands of these laptops, and, you know, there's probably 2,000 cells, you know, batteries to every 1,000 laptops. And so he's got probably a surplus. And then, you know, he probably's got a little machine that he uses to test them and stuff. And whatever is bad, he's like, well, there's 200-300 of them here. I don't want to throw them away. Let's put them on a lot and sell them on eBay, right? And so that's what they started doing. And then as soon as like people started like, hey, well, I can buy those for nothing, you know. I bought a lot of 100 batteries for $300. So I paid $3 for each dead laptop battery, right? And then those had like 9 cells. And so you do the math or whatever, only 50% of them were good. But you know what I did with the other 50%? I actually tested them, right? And they were like below. They were 1,500 milliamps. They were 1,700 milliamps. I found someone on eBay that would buy those for me because they were like, well, you tested, you did all the hard work. I'd rather buy those that get the ultra fire mystery cells. And so I sold those cells for $1 each. And so I sold hundreds of them, you know what I mean? And so that's how I was able to get down the price, down to 30 cents. Nowadays it's hard. Every one of you is going out in eBay and outbidding each other. And the people that are selling, the people that have these companies that sell discarded, you know, batteries and computers and screens and stuff, they know this. You know, they see that all kinds of, you know, the demand is going up, everybody's paying more, so they're raising their prices. And so, yeah, I mean, it's not very sustainable. You know what I mean? Like, I made that video. It's got now almost 200,000 views. Out of those, you know, I don't know, even if 10% of the viewers go and try to, and you know what? I know how many clicks I've generated to YouTube to go and try to buy those batteries. It's in the thousands. So that's the reason why there's no more cheap batteries. But I see a bright future because, you know, think about this. There's a Tesla Model S battery that was on eBay not too long ago, and they wanted $10,000 for it. That one has about 16 modules, with 5 kilowatt hour modules. You know, if you buy, like, let's say I were to buy that and it cost me $10,000, I could split that up and sell the modules. You know what I mean? Like, I could break them apart and then sell them as loose cells, which would be a dumb thing. I don't know why I would want to do that. It's already packaged, you know, perfectly. It's a 24 volt, 5 kilowatt module. You can grab one of those modules that they're selling right now, like standalone, like by themselves. They're selling, I think, for like $1,300, $1,200, something like that. And you can put that on a box in the wall, strap a 24 volt inverter, and then there's your power wall. You didn't have to do much. And so that's more and more Tesla batteries are popping up on salvage yards. I think it's going to be a thing that it's going to be easy to buy the 18650 cells, already packaged, ready to go, ready to plug in and do the thing. You know what I mean? And so it's a good future that I see. Let's see what else.
Next, this isn't really a question. Darren says, need a FAQ for these live chats. Same questions, at least the last few chats, particularly on the power wall and cost of the 18650s.
Yes, that's true. But you have to keep in mind, there's a lot more people. So since the last time I did one of these, there's like 8,000 more subscribers. Which, by the way, here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing. I just looked at my channel this morning. I was looking at the stats like I do every half hour. And the viewership, you know, the amount of views that come from subscribers and non-subscribers has shifted. Now the subscribers only make about 15% of the views in my channel. And so that's the reason why a lot of you guys are asking, because you guys haven't seen the rest of my videos. If you haven't seen the rest of the videos, there's like 100, well, I don't see that. It's 100 videos, but the EV stuff is sprinkled around. But there is solid like 50 videos in my channel that specifically talk about batteries, electric cars, and messing around with those two things, you know. And so you need to go watch those, because I've made stuff that talks about the theory, that talks about the testing of these batteries, about buying these batteries. The whole story is there, so you guys got to go watch that, so that the rest of us can concentrate on other things, I guess. I mean,
get with it. Hansen says, do you think graphene will improve batteries over time?
I don't know. I wouldn't know how to answer that question, because I'm not a chemist, and I don't know. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, I'm hoping, because we need better batteries. We need better, cheaper, smaller, lighter batteries.
Ben, he's asking, what has been the main goal of your Esamba project? Are you close to achieving it?
Yeah, I actually have achieved quite a bit. I wanted to drive a car that was electric and that would get me 100 miles. I am currently getting 150 miles from my current setup, and I'm driving it every day. So I say
surpassed your expectations.
Achieve, goal achieved. Of course, I also want to paint it. I also want to make it so that, I love the Samba, by the way. I mean, I drive it. I wouldn't trade it for any other car. In fact, people have offered me $60,000, $70,000 for it. I'm like, you want to pique my interest? You start giving me a 6-figure number. You know what I mean? Like anything above $100,000, I might consider it. You know what I mean? But not everybody thinks the same, and it's a perfect example of it this time around. I don't know if it's me. I don't know how much of it is me, but large part of it has to do with the car. We go to these shows, and these other electric cars that were with us this weekend or whatever, they got a whole lot of attention, and partly not just because they're electric, it's just because they're like show cars, Michael's car is beautiful. It's like perfect patina. It's like almost seems like it's undisturbed. It's not, but it's got the illusion that it's undisturbed, that it's all original, straight and stuff. David's car is beautiful. It's like, I mean, that's like museum quality stuff. Every bolt, everything was painted and polished, and and so I think it's even though I love my bus the way it is, I still want to finish it. I want to paint it, and I want to make it shiny, and I want to put the shiny new wheels on it and stuff, just so that other people, so I would have a bigger impact into, the movement, the message. And so I want to do that, but I just don't have the money to do it. When I started working on the Samba, I knew I didn't have enough money to finish it. And so because I don't approach things like, well, once I do the research and once I do the thing, then I'll, I get the insurance first and then I get the car or whatever. I don't operate that way. I'm like, let's just go for it. You know what I mean? Like, if I can't finish it, well, let's do half of the work now that I can afford. Let's hope that, with time, I'll be in a better place and we'll have more money. And so it's starting with the Samba. I knew I didn't have the money. And so I thought, well, I'll do it in a way where I can drive around and then I'll work on it little by little. And so I'm glad I did it, because if I had not done it, I probably would have spent that money, dumped it here in the business, which probably would have not done much. And then I would not have money to buy me a Samba. And I would just be hoping and wishing that I had done it different so that I could have a Samba. So eventually, the Samba is an ongoing project. Who knows when I'm going to be able to finish painting it. We have someone that's interested. We haven't followed through with that thing. He was there at the show, but I couldn't get a hold of him. So, anyways, work is coming for the Samba.
Is there heating and AC in the Samba?
No, there's not. My AC is my front windows. They open up and they let air, and me and my dogs just get air in our faces. Heating, last year I did put those heated pads on the seats. But because my seats are already upholstered, then I didn't. There was just kind of, everything in the Samba. It's temporary. Everything except for the motor and the controller. Like the battery's temporary, the charger's temporary, the heating pads on the everything's temporary. But yeah, no heating. But I'm in California, so it's not a big deal. There's temperature difference here it's like 20 degrees, between the highest and the lowest. What else?
Ben wants to know, do you have any plans to commercialize the knowledge or tech developed in the Samba project?
I mean, essentially that's what I'm doing here. I want to make videos. And this technology and this experiments on the Samba, it's a tool that it's gonna allow me to do that. But primarily I want to make videos. I want to explore like the artistic side that I ventured out to do like 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Eventually I started a business making tools for other people that wanted to tell stories and do video and stuff, and here I am stuck, I'm almost 40. I need to get in. It's now or never. And so that's what I want to do there. The other stuff, that whatever comes, if it comes and there's an opportunity, then I'll do it. Someone was knocking or what?
No, it was the janitor guy.
Oh, it was the janitor guy. Okay. Dude, there's 71 people watching now. Wow.
Whoa.
It's crazy, guys.
Big ups. Keep asking questions. We're running out.
We're running out. Well, I guess I answered everything, guys. I answered everything.
Google Minus wants to know, what would you recommend looking for in a car to turn into an EV?
Number one, you gotta love it. You gotta like the car, because you're gonna have to dump a lot of work and a lot of money into it. So, but other than that, it just depends what you want. Like if you want to race, then it's got to be a small light car. If a modern car with modern suspension. If like me, you just want something to drive around, and you have a car like me, the Samba is really the most horrible car to drive. Almost from every angle you look at it, it's unsafe. It's about the unsafest car in the world. You can't really go fast because it's just wind. You're fighting the wind. But it was the car that I love, that I always wished I could have, but I just couldn't find enough to mess around with the oily mess of engine that is back there. I love bugs. I love Volkswagens. I hate Volkswagen engines. They're horrible. And so going electric was the only way. So for me, the Samba was a perfect car to get this done to, and so it helped a lot that it's becoming an iconic car and stuff. But yeah, for you, it just depends what you want to do. If you want to drive it around every day, haul around your kids in it, then it's going to be something big and heavy and stuff, and you're not going to have tons of range unless you add a bunch of batteries. If you're looking at some performance things, yeah, you're going to have to look at something light and small and agile. So yeah, it just depends. Solar Impulse FPV reviews is saying, Jehu, what are your thoughts on Solar Impulse, the electric solar plane going around the world? I think it's great. Last time I heard it got stuck in Hawaii, right? I haven't seen any updates from that. Again, I don't know if the team's still down and working on it, so go. But that's amazing. Imagine one person going around the world on electric power from solar. Power of the sun. Amazing. What else?
Anything planned for an off-road vehicle?
Oh, yeah. Well, not me personally, but, I was working with Michael. We were going to do mostly the media stuff. We were going to shoot the episodes. We were going to make like a little... It was up to us to figure out what we were going to produce and make, but he was involved in a team that was going to make a Baja. Which, by the way, what happened? We didn't even go to the Baja this year. Whatever, they pulled out, they didn't race for some reason, I don't remember why. They couldn't make the time or something. But they were going to make the first Baja car that was powered with batteries, and we're gonna use these Tesla packs because Michael is the only person in the world that is not a billionaire and has access to enough batteries to complete that race, hot swapping batteries, and so that was the plan, but it didn't work. I know they'd have some big time sponsors, that with like deep pockets and stuff, and we were just involved in. We were gonna go and shoot it and edit it and present the story to you guys, but it didn't happen. So maybe next year. Oh, it's still stuck there. They will resume soon. So that airplane is still stuck in Hawaii. It's cool. Hey, it's a cool place to be stuck in. I'd like to be stuck there. I love Hawaii. I want to go there. Hopefully, it's been 4 years, 3-4 years maybe that I haven't taken a vacation. I want to go on vacation. Hopefully this year. I might want to go to Hawaii again. What else?
Can you add a solar panel to the roof?
No. I mean, yes, I can, but I don't want to. It's not enough. I actually do want to. But my requirement is that it has to look like it's part of the car. And I haven't figured out how to do that. I do have some solar cells that are flexible. And so it'd be cool to put them around, and the roof, I only have 2 little pieces of roof. And so I would want to like put it there and then like glue them down to the metal and then shoot like some like like the stuff that is like what's that stuff that guitars are made out of? Polyester. Like some kind of polyester structure so that the solar cells are part of the paint, a part of the car kind of thing. So if I were able to do that, then I would do it. I'm not gonna strap some panel thing. I mean, I don't know, maybe I would do it if it was like that rack that I have up there that I don't use for anything. That's purely just aesthetic reasons, you know. It's got wood slats. Maybe if I make the wood slats into, you know, but now we're talking, how much electricity are you generating when you have tiny little panels, you know what I mean? Yeah, maybe I would do it like that, but not just strapping an ugly panel up there, you know? What else?
Ben's joking around. Can you convert yourself to electric? If so, what would be your range?
Well, you know what was the crazy thing about that is that I started doing some research because I wanted to see how much electricity. I mean, your body uses energy, right? And so different types of energy. And so I wanted to see if I could figure out and convert that energy into like watt hours and see how much the body uses. I want to see how much my body consumes, you know what I mean? Because you look at our bodies, and I'm a wimp, but I can pick up 100 pounds, you know, for a few minutes, and, you know, I can go over there. I can, you know, you put a lion chasing me, I can run a couple miles, you know, I'm going to be dying at the end of that, but I can sprint for a few 100 meters or whatever. I'm a pretty amazing machine, you know what I mean? So how much energy do I use? How many batteries does it take to power my body? And I did a little bit of research on that, and it turns out, I think idle, your body uses like over 100 watt hours a day? I think it was like 100 watt hours or something like that. I was really interested for a while because I want to make a video about that. It would be interesting to see, right? Like, we all know what a watt is, you know, but really, like, put it in perspective, what is a watt? Like, how much energy is that? I think it's hard for the average person to grasp exactly like these units of power that we always talking about, you know. How much energy does a 100 watt light bulb just use, you know? And so it would be interesting to compare like that to an everyday thing. Put a panel on the trailer. Yeah. Once I make that trailer was just also a proof of concept. That trailer is gone. Well, I mean, it's there. It doesn't have any batteries on there anymore, but it's eventually going to have a box on top pretty soon, by the end of this week probably. And it's going to have a bunch of crap on top of it because I needed to. So, eventually when I make my real permanent trailer, it's going to be nice. It's going to be something cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to look cool, and it's going to be a cool thing, you know.
Ben wants to know, would you be able to and/or want to get a job with Tesla?
If I was like in charge of like social media promotion or some kind of like advertising or promotional thing, I would. I don't think I would do it on a technical side. I don't think I don't have any expertise at that level that they would want me to give me a job. So I would. The only thing that I would fit is be like just like a drone, just building something or.
We're like street smart for this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, in those terms, I'm just a hack. You know what I mean? I figure what to do and stuff. You know, just by trial and error and stuff. But I think those guys are above my pay grade. You know what I mean? Like they need people that know stuff. I've gone to school and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I would work there for one day if I can bring my camera along. Definitely. It definitely had to be with one camera in my hand. Whatever I could do. Whatever I could do with one camera, with my camera in one hand.
Granite wants to know, do you ever see yourself fitting in a standard electronic charge plug on the Samba, like the one the Volt has?
The Samba has an AJ1772 plug in it. I don't have the logic to make it work. It's a tiny little box that it's cost like $30 or something. Michael sells them. My charger that I was trying to make, my permanent charger, has that circuit built in there. And so I wanted to do it that way. And so that's why I never bought the thing. And I kind of refused to do it. But it seems like working on that charger is going to be, I don't know, in the future. If I ever actually get to it. So I just need to buy a tiny little thing, put it in. But the plug is in there. It's like you open up my gas tank, it's got a plug. And I should do it because if I drive around my Samba and I wanted to charge somewhere else, then it's easy nowadays here in California. It's really easy to find a charging station. It's you go to the mall, you go to the movies, you go here in Rancho. All the public buildings have charging stations and they are free. Rancho Cucamonga will give me free electricity to charge my Samba or my Volt. So that's pretty cool.
Pretty white up in here.
Yeah.
Stan Ulch wants to know, kind of far out of a question, why couldn't you add a DC wind turbine on top? Would the wind resistance be off-put by the power gain?
Yeah, you're way. you're above. Yeah, you're above my pain grade. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could. I don't know. But as I understand it, whatever you add there, it's always going to be at a negative. So it's going to take more energy to then you're going to be generating. So especially on the Samba. The Samba is just a big box with a bunch of the drag coefficient of a sailboat. Wait, actually, well, yeah, sailboat, because they use the thing, yeah, except backwards. Yeah, I don't know. I don't quite understand your question, and so it might be possible. I don't know. What else?
I don't really understand this question either. Ben's asking, what are your thoughts on Tesla's change of battery form factor? 20-something? Question mark.
Ooh. As far as I know, I haven't heard that they're thinking of changing battery form factor. As far as I know, the Gigafactory is gearing up to build 18650s. I could be wrong, but again, I haven't heard that that's what's happening. If anyone else knows more, please provide a link so I can read the story, because I find that interesting.
Okay, this guy's asking...
Yeah, if I got a Tesla, I would take it apart.
Guaranteed. So with car battery storage, are you looking for max amps or looking for higher MAH?
Wait, what? Read that one again?
So with car battery storage, are you looking for max amps or higher MAH?
Oh, well, it depends. Depends what you're trying to do. If you're making a race car, if you're doing a drag race car, then you want power output, right? So you want a small light battery that can output tons of energy, in less than 2 minutes. You want all that energy on the racetrack. If you want to build a long range, cruiser like me, then yeah, you want capacity on those batteries. So you don't really care. You're gonna have a giant battery anyways. You know what I mean? So So even at the smallest amounts, even the batteries that can't deliver the energy quick enough, if you have a giant battery, then it'll be enough. So yeah, depends for your application. For me, I was looking for capacity. That's and price. That's the cheapest batteries that I can find with the most capacity. And of course, safety is also an issue. You got to do all that stuff in every application. That's another thing that one of those arguments that I seem to do it myself. I need to be able to articulate that in a video. It's how are you gonna do? Well, it's the one that I started this conversation tonight. Is like, how do you run these batteries that are old, near their end of their life? How do you run them safely? And so that's the way you do it. You do them, or you give them an easy life. You do them where you don't run them towards their peak. If you run anything, any piece of equipment, any technology, if you run it at peak all the time, it's not going to last very much. It's going to be a different thing, A Honda Accord gives you 100,000 miles, an engine. But a stock car engine will typically only last one race. And it's not because they're using cheap parts or they're not making a good quality engine. It's because they're running at peak for, 7 hours, and that's it. And so any technology you run at a peak, it's not going to last you very much. And so when you design a system, you want to design it so it doesn't run anywhere near peak. So you want to design it so it's got plenty of room to breathe and stuff. And that's just, basic design philosophy, I think. Or so I think, because I never took design philosophy in any kind of formal training. What else?
For Powerwall, why not just use an industrial battery pack, such as for forklifts?
Because those are typically like lead acid or some crazy heavy, not as good as our lithium batteries are. There's nothing better than lithium right now. Lithium chemistries are way better. They're smaller, they're lighter, they're stronger. That's why.
What are your thoughts on computer industry moving from using lithium ion cells to lithium polymer battery packs?
Oh, yeah, that is interesting. I actually did a search yesterday because as I'm developing like a new video in my head, I was thinking like, what chemistry is on consumer electronics? Like this phone right here has a pretty big battery. It's a lithium polymer battery. But lithium polymer, as I understand, it's the reason why it's called lithium polymer. It's because of the casing. It's a polymer casing on the cell. So you can have a pouch cell that is lithium iron phosphate, for example. And so that's a lithium iron phosphate cells are usually not called or not referred to as a lipo cells, right? Lithium polymer is because of the casing. So I don't know exactly what kind of chemistry they're using on my laptop and on my phone. I doubt it very much that they're using similar chemistries to RC lipopolymer cells. Again, because the application is different. Like most of the RC toys or applications require for the battery to be able to deliver their entire energy within like 20 minutes or less, right? There's not a lot of these RC things that last more than 20 minutes. Where the phone is completely different. You want this thing to last you the most amount. You don't want your battery to drain in 20 minutes. You're trying to design, people at Apple are trying to design these things to last 10 hours and like all day. And so, of course, you're going to put a chemistry that is more energy dense instead of, or power dense. Yeah, more capacity instead of like more power out of the battery. So yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to do that. I started reading a little bit, but of course I'm always trying to do stuff as I'm on the go. I didn't get very far. I still don't know what my iPhone cell chemistry is. I don't know if it's closer to lithium iron, lithium, yeah, I don't know. It's probably going to be energy dense though. I think so.
Next one.
Next one. Oh, you know what? But it's 9 o'clock. I think we're going to call it here.
Yeah.
There's 72 watching. I want to thank every single one of you for sticking around. But yeah, I think we have to go get some dinner. It's 9 o'clock p.m. here in California, and it's dark outside. And I should have been working on this, but I decided to hang out with you guys and talk a little bit batteries. It's always fun. I want to thank you, every single one of you. If any of the patron supporters are watching this, I want to thank you once again. You guys are making this possible. I want to thank my sponsors. Oh man. Teradek. They're the ones that make this thing also possible. The Video Pro allows me to get online quickly, right? How long did it take me? 5 minutes? Set it up, turn it on. I was on. It was live. I didn't even know if it was live, right? I was like, is it live? Is it working? So, thank you, Teradek. If you watch the next vlog, you'll see that those guys sent me a little...
Is this gonna be archived?
A little package. Yeah, this video will actually we post it. You know, it just like processes and then it gets posted and stuff. And the only thing that we'll lose is your comments. So if you guys want to continue the conversation, I guess you can continue down there on the comment section of this video. Don't forget to support our sponsors, and don't forget to leave comments and likes and shares. Oh, by the way, guys, I started. Wait, did I talk about this earlier? I started posting my videos on Facebook because it's just redundancy. You know what I mean? There's millions and millions, actually more like 1 billion people on Facebook. And so I think not a lot of time there's a crossover and stuff. And Facebook is notoriously for kind of hiding any of the videos that are just linked to YouTube. And so in order to get away from that, I don't make any money over there or anything, but at this point I think maybe it's okay. I don't need to, you know, again, I'm not trying to be rich here or anything. I'm just trying to be able to set the system up so that I can do this and I can make videos and still pay my bills and stuff. And so that's why I'm gonna I started a new page on Facebook, so if you guys want to go and check and share and help me get that off the ground so that we can spread, you know, the craziness that it's Jehu Garcia and the experiments that we're doing with the people on Facebook. It was only a matter of time before someone freebooted one of my videos and put it up there, and so I was like, let's do it. Better be me. I want to freeboot myself. So yeah, if you guys have a Facebook account, go make sure you go and support and like and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post some of the older vlogs that I've been doing. I'm gonna post 2 a day until probably 2-3 months or something, and it'll be caught up, and then we'll be synchronized across all the platforms. I'm also gonna start doing that on Vimeo. Although I have to figure out, I have to pay over there to be able to upload. What's going on, Vimeo?
You're losing it.
I have, yeah, they don't give me enough storage to be, unless I compress the crap out of the videos, and I don't really want to do that. But also, go check out Vimeo, my account, and then, and here on YouTube. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Signing out.
Signing out.